Welcome back to the deep dive. Today
Uh-huh.
we're exploring something you might not expect.
Yep.
The world of Bible sales.
Interesting.
It turns out they're booming in the US. Numbers are up
Really?
22% compared to just 1% for other books.
Wow.
We've got some insights from CBN News, and it looks like this trend
Yeah,
might be tied to something bigger happening in our society.
absolutely. It seems this surge, especially in times that feel uncertain for many people,
Right.
points to a deeper shift in what people are looking for.
We'll unpack those potential reasons,
Yeah.
and we'll also look into why some folks
Yeah.
might hesitate to even open a Bible in the first place.
Makes sense. We'll delve into those common barriers
Exactly.
and explore how folks are finding ways to connect with the Bible that work for them.
So let's start with this 22% jump in Bible sales.
Yeah,
That's a pretty big leap.
it is.
Right.
Yeah.
What does CBN News say about why this might be happening?
Well, CBN News highlights a few key factors. They point to the anxieties many are feeling globally.
Ah.
Nuclear threats, terrorism,
Oh, wow.
and the possibility of another major war. Then there are the societal shifts happening closer to home,
Okay.
changing family structures, and the loneliness and anxiety that many are experiencing post-COVID.
So it sounds like people are looking for something solid to hold on to when the world feels shaky.
Exactly. And CBN News suggests that people are turning to the Bible as a source of comfort,
Mm.
looking for answers to big questions about life and purpose in a world that feels chaotic. They interviewed Alex McFarland,
Okay.
a Christian apologist and expert on youth culture, who offered some insights into this trend.
Okay. Before we go any further, for those who might not be familiar, could you explain what a Christian apologist does?
Of course, a Christian apologist focuses on providing a reasoned defense of the Christian faith,
Uh-huh.
often addressing criticisms and questions about Christianity,
Interesting.
trying to make it understandable and relatable to others.
Thanks for clarifying that. Now back to Alex McFarland. What did he have to say about why people might be turning to the Bible?
Well, McFarland connects these anxieties, both global and societal,
Yeah.
to a growing desire, especially among young people, for something bigger than themselves. He suggests that people are seeking a sense of meaning and purpose that goes beyond everyday life.
It's interesting, right? In an age where we're constantly bombarded with information and fleeting trends, people seem to be yearning for something deeper. But the Bible itself can be
Yeah.
a bit intimidating, even for someone who's curious.
Sure.
It's a big book.
Yeah, that's a very common feeling.
Yeah.
But McFarland offers a few suggestions from his experience.
Okay.
But for someone who's new to the Bible, he recommends starting with the Gospel of Mark.
Makes sense.
It's a shorter book, only 16 chapters, and focuses on the story of Jesus in a pretty straightforward way.
That makes sense. A more manageable entry point. I know some people feel like they need a theology degree to understand the Bible.
Right, and that's where technology can really help. Apps like YouVersion offer different translations so you can find one that resonates with you. They also have reading plans that break the Bible down into smaller chunks.
So you're not trying to tackle the whole thing at once. You can ease your way in and get a feel for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And many of these apps also have audio versions,
Oh, yeah.
which can be great for people on the go. You can listen while you're commuting or working out.
That's a great point. It makes the Bible much more accessible for people with busy lifestyles.
Right.
So we've talked about some of the anxieties driving people toward faith and some ways to make the Bible less intimidating.
Yeah.
But CBN News also highlighted a pretty surprising surge in Bible engagement among younger generations. Why do you think that is? What's drawing them in?
Well, McFarland describes a real zeal for the Bible he's seeing among young people.
Wow.
He says many are attending Bible camps, actively searching for spiritual connections, and really diving into the scripture. He even shared a story about a teenager who experienced a remarkable change after reading the Bible.
I'm always intrigued by those personal stories. It's one thing to talk about trends, but real life examples really bring it home. What happened with this teenager?
McFarland was leading a youth camp, and this particular 16-year-old boy who'd never actually read a book before ended up reading the Bible for 45 minutes straight.
Wow.
Afterwards, he came to McFarland visibly excited and told him he wasn't even on any of his medications anymore.
That's pretty powerful.
It really is.
Yeah.
He found a sense of peace and focus through the Bible that was clearly impacting his well-being in a very real way.
It goes to show that even for someone with no prior experience with the Bible, that connection can be really profound.
It makes you wonder, what is it about the Bible that resonates so strongly, especially in a world that often feels dominated by technology and instant gratification?
Well, CBN News highlights the concept of abundant life, which is a recurring theme in the Bible. It's about finding true fulfillment and purpose, not just chasing fleeting pleasures or material possessions.
So it's not just about following rules or being good. It's about finding a deeper meaning in life. Exactly. And that's something that seems to be resonating with people all ages, especially those who are feeling lost or disillusioned by the pressures of modern life.
It definitely feels like the Bible is offering something that a lot of people are craving in today's world.
It does.
A sense of purpose, a framework for navigating challenges, and a feeling of belonging to something larger than themselves. But what exactly does abundant life mean in a practical sense? How is CBN News interpreting this concept?
CBN News ties abundant life to the idea of living in alignment with God's will, finding true joy and satisfaction, not necessarily through material wealth or success, but through spiritual growth and purpose. They suggest it's about recognizing our inherent value and living a life that reflects that.
That makes sense. It's about connecting with something larger than ourselves, finding meaning beyond the everyday grind.
Right.
It seems like for many, the Bible offers a roadmap to that kind of life.
Exactly. It provides a framework for understanding our place in the world, for making decisions, and for building relationships based on values that go beyond the fleeting trends of society.
It's fascinating how this ancient text is finding new relevance in a world that's changing so rapidly. It speaks to a deeper human need that transcends time and technology. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about how those who are drawn to the Bible are actually engaging with it. We've touched on Bible apps, but what other ways are people connecting with these teachings?
Well, alongside the rise in Bible sales and app usage, we're also seeing a resurgence of interest in traditional forms of engagement. McFarland mentioned the popularity of Bible study groups where people come together to discuss and learn from the scriptures in a community setting.
So it's not just a solitary pursuit. There's a real sense of community and shared learning involved.
Absolutely. These groups provide a space for people to share their perspectives, ask questions, and support each other on their spiritual journeys. It's about connecting with others who are also seeking meaning and guidance from the Bible.
That human connection is so important, especially in a world that can feel isolating at times. Now we've been focusing primarily on the individual's search for meaning. But CBN News also hinted at how this trend might reflect a broader societal shift. What did they have to say about that?
They touched upon the idea that as traditional institutions and structures evolve, people are seeking alternative sources of authority and guidance. In a world where things feel less certain, they're looking for something to ground them to provide a sense of stability.
So it's not just about personal fulfillment, it's also about navigating the complexities of a changing world.
Precisely. And for some, the Bible provides that compass, that framework for understanding right and wrong, for making sense of the challenges we face as individuals and as a society.
It's almost like people are rediscovering the wisdom and relevance of these ancient texts in a modern context.
That's a great way to put it. They're finding that the questions and struggles that people faced thousands of years ago are still relevant today. We're still grappling with issues of purpose, identity, morality, and the Bible offers perspectives and insights that resonate across generations.
Now, I'm curious, did CBN News delve into any potential downsides or criticisms of this trend? I know some people might be skeptical of a resurgence in religious belief.
They didn't explicitly address criticisms, but they did acknowledge that the reasons behind this trend are complex and multifaceted. They emphasize that for many it's not about blind faith or a rejection of reason, but rather a genuine search for meaning and connection in a world that can often feel empty.
That's an important point. It's about recognizing the individual motivations and experiences that are driving this phenomenon, rather than making generalizations or assumptions.
Exactly. And ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide what resonates with them, what brings them comfort and guidance.
It's about respecting that individual journey and recognizing that different paths can lead to meaning and fulfillment. Now, before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the idea that the Bible can provide a moral compass in a world where values seem increasingly subjective. Could you elaborate on that a bit? What aspects of the Bible's moral framework do you think resonate most strongly with people today, and why?
Well, I think in today's world where we're constantly bombarded with different perspectives and ideologies, the Bible's emphasis on compassion, empathy, and treating others with kindness really resonate.
Those are pretty universal values, regardless of one's religious beliefs.
Exactly. And I think people are drawn to the idea of living a life that's guided by these principles, especially in a world that can often feel divided and self-serving.
So it's not about imposing a strict set of rules, but rather about finding a framework for ethical behavior that promotes harmony and understanding.
Precisely. the Bible emphasizes the importance of love, forgiveness, and justice. These are values that transcend cultural differences and speak to a deeper human longing for connection and meaning.
It's interesting to think about how these ancient teachings can offer guidance in navigating the complexities of modern ethical dilemmas.
It is. The Bible provides stories and examples that people can relate to even thousands of years later. It grapples with questions of right and wrong, good and evil, in a way that's both timeless and relevant to the challenges we face today.
It's almost like a conversation across generations, offering wisdom and perspective that can inform our own moral compass.
I love that way of putting it. And I think that's what makes this trend so fascinating. It's not just about religion, it's about a deeper human search for meaning, connection, and ethical guidance in a world that can often feel turbulent and uncertain.
It's been a truly insightful deep dive into a topic I honestly didn't expect to be so captivating. What stood out to you the most from our exploration of this trend?
I think the connection between global uncertainty and the desire for spiritual grounding is particularly striking. It highlights the human need for something stable to hold on to when the world feels unpredictable.
I agree. And it makes you wonder how this search for meaning and purpose will continue to evolve in the future.
That's a great question to ponder. Will traditional forms of faith continue to hold this appeal? Or will new forms of spirituality emerge?
And how will technology and societal shifts continue to shape the way people connect with their beliefs? It's certainly a lot to think about.
It is. And it's a reminder that even in our fast-paced digital world, the fundamental human questions about purpose, meaning, and connection remain at the forefront.
If this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to explore further, whether it's picking up a Bible, checking out a Bible app, or simply reflecting on what brings meaning and purpose to your own life.
It's a journey worth taking.
Until next time, keep diving.